Hey everybody, this is your Sam again. I'm here with another video. Today I kind of want to go over how many editing rounds you need to do in order to not necessarily perfect your novel, but make sure it's ready for a reader. And this can be alpha readers or beta readers or something in between, or even sending it to an editor or an agent. And this is subjective again. Some of these things you may not need to do because your book is fine in that aspect. You're good with grammar or punctuation, or maybe you're good with plotting, so your developmental edits are a little less intense than it would be for somebody else. So take this with a grain of salt, add it to your repertoire if you can. Maybe this will help you break down some of your edits so that they're not as overwhelming. Hopefully you can get something out of this. My editing process has so far been transcribing my handwriting into a single document. While I've been doing this, I've been kind of doing some flow checks and seeing if I need to keep this scene or not, and also doing some developmental edits where I have changed something in book 2, which I've written the first draft of, or something later in book 1, and I've needed to change a certain scene or a certain sentence or something like that, or added a little bit of foreshadowing in order to tie everything closely together. So this rewrite per se for draft 2 has basically been developmental edits, and that is the editing process that I would do first. Developmental edits can be how scenes are ordered in your book, how chapters are ordered in your book, if the order makes sense. You don't really want to skip around too much because that might cause confusion for the reader, or it needs to be done in a way that is enticing and done well. It's also making sure that the information is clear, that your reader will understand what you're trying to get across, and it's whether you need to cut or elaborate on some scenes or chapters. The next edit that you can do is for tone and interest level. You reread your book and see how the tone flows, if it's consistent throughout your book, or if it kind of changes with the different scenes. You know, emotional scene, your tone's going to be a little bit heavier during those scenes, or during a battle scene it's going to be a little bit quicker. It's going to change just minutely, but the tone still needs to be kind of consistent throughout the book. And the interest level. When you reread your book during this process, see if it is interesting to you, if it's still holding your interest, or if you feel like you're kind of slogging through. Then maybe you need to change that scene or change that chapter around, change the tone a little bit to see if you can make it more interesting, more enticing for the reader to pull through it and get to the next part. Also, during this edit, you need to have your audience in mind, or your readers in mind. So does the tone and the pace and all the interest levels and everything like that fit for your audience? Edit number 3 is mostly going over changing passive voice to active voice, or passive verbs to active verbs. And this is a little intense. It's a little slow, especially if you have a huge piece of work like me and you're reading through. A good thing for this is the whole find and replace tool that's in most documents that you can use to write your novel. And you can look up or just Google passive verbs and run them through the find and replace. See if you have some of those passive verbs, and see if you can change that sentence around a little bit to make it more active, more interesting for your reader. Number 4 in the editing process is changing tell to show. There can be some telling in your novels. It's fine, I guess. But you want to show more things to your readers rather than tell them. You want the reader to be able to imagine it, to be able to see the picture forming from your words in their minds. The next edit I do is changing tell to showing. Something that kind of goes along with this, or that can be in your next round of edits, is the conciseness of your words, your sentences. You want to cut out filler here. You want to make sure that there are sentences that don't go on and on and on and on. You want to make sure that you're using proper words so that your sentences and your ideas are concise. You can do this by reading each sentence in each scene and seeing if you can portray it in fewer words. Instead of saying something like describing someone's eyes with 3 descriptors and then moving to how their gaze is in 3 descriptors, and then moving to what they say and how their voice is in 3 more descriptors, cut down each section to have only 1 descriptor, or make the dialogue portray how they say it. You know, you don't have to say that they said it with a kind of a growl, or it was gruff or something like that. It's, you know, use the words that would tell the reader that it said kind of gruffly, or it said kind of smart alecky, or something like that. Dialogue can be told that way, or it can show that. It can show how it's being said. Proper dialogue can. The next one is reading for flow. You want to make sure that each scene and each chapter flow into one another. The plots are going well throughout the book. There's enough action, there's enough emotion, and it's just all tying in together and working really well. It's working like a machine, a well-oiled machine pretty much. Or your story is being built like a proper home kind of thing. So check on flow in your next edit. And then you're probably ready for an alpha read, or a beta read, or a critique partner read. And then you get their feedback and you edit for their feedback. And then I would probably do another grammar and punctuation edit and flow edit, and then I would send it to a professional editor, and then possibly 2 editors, depending on if they just do developmental edits and then just do copy editing or proofreading. I would do 1 of each editor depending on how comfortable I felt with certain things in the book. And then I would start querying. That's just my steps that I have built for myself, that I am following right now, and it works for me. So maybe it'll work for you. If you have found this video very informational or inspiring, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I do writing related videos every Sunday and Thursday. Every now and then I pop in some dealing with anxiety and depression as a creative, or just something that tickles my fancy at the moment, like a tag video. So go ahead and subscribe so you won't miss anything, and ring that bell so you'll be notified whenever I do upload videos. I also do live streams every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I try not to be a zombie. I'm getting very I'm getting better at that, I think. And yeah, we will get some productivity done. We'll get some writing done or editing done, whatever it is that you need to get done during little 20-minute sprints and some chatting in between. Go ahead and share this video with your friends if you think that they'll be interested in it. I am trying to get to 200 subscribers now that I've reached the 100 subscriber mark, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and as always, be kind to one another, stay safe out there, keep being creative, and keep writing. And I will see you next time.